Hello everybody. So you'll notice I'm not in my uniform today. I'm making kind of a different type of video right now. This is not a karate video, so I apologize for those that are looking for a karate video. You'll have to wait for the next one. So this video, first of all, it was not my idea. I thought it was a little weird, but I had more than one person request it, so I figured I would do it. I was talking to one of my students earlier this week on the phone, and he brought up the fact, like we were just chatting, and he was talking about the mats. And he thought that, you know, the mats that we have are really nice, and it's amazing how nice they look because he's been to other dojos and they're not nearly as nice as these ones. Mind you, they're not that old, of course. And he was asking about the process. Like, what do you do? How do you clean them? What's the maintenance like? How often does it have to happen? Things like that. And he said, you should make a video of how to clean the mats properly. And I'll be honest, I thought that was a little strange. I said, I don't know if people really want to see that. And then I was talking to a different a parent, actually, on the phone. And I brought that up, and she said, I think that would be a great idea. You should make a video of the cleaning and maintenance process of what goes on. I think people would like to see that. I think they would appreciate the kind of work that goes in to make the place look the way it does, because it's really, really nice. So I was like, okay, maybe. And then yesterday, one of the fathers of a kid that I teach stopped by for some stuff. And he's kind of a bigger guy, and he knows who he is. And I say bigger because it just the way he said it was really funny. We were talking, he stopped, and he looked around, and he went, man, it's clean in here. Wow, this is really, he just went on about just the way his voice just bellowed. It just made me laugh. And then he stopped and he went, you know what you should do? You should make a video of keeping the place clean. And I was like, what's with people wanting to see me clean? Like, I don't know, you don't believe it's me doing it? You think it's like I snap my fingers and the ninjas come out? But he brought up a good point. He said, I think it's important for the kids to see this happening, because it's not like there's necessarily a cleaning service that does it all the time. Like, I'll do it too, right? And he wants the kids to see just how much work goes in, and that cleaning shouldn't be taken for granted. There's actually a lot of hard work that has to go in. So once he said that, I figured, okay, you know what? That's 3 people now that have said it, and that's not a bad idea for kids to see. So I'm going to show you guys. I don't want this to be a super long video. Again, not a karate video, so I apologize for that. I'm not going to clean the whole mats. I'm just going to do a little section right here. I'll show you guys the process. So the first thing I'm going to point out, because someone's going to say, yes, I am wearing shoes on the mats, but these are actually my cleaning flip-flops. These are the neon green ones you guys might have seen kicking around here before. I don't wear them outside. I only wear them when I'm cleaning in here, right? So before anyone comments, says, Mr. Grant's wearing shoes on the mats, they're cleaning shoes, guys. Okay, I just put them on when I clean. So I'll show you the process. I have a few things laid out here. So I think of the process, let me just grab my first thing here. I think of the process for these mats in kind of a 3-tier system. There's kind of the basic cleaning, and then there's the harder cleaning, and then there's the more like detailed cleaning. So it's kind of a 3-stage process with what I do. So first things first, I have one of these big janitorial broom mops that you see. And it covers a lot of room, obviously, so it doesn't take too long. And typically what I'll do is I just go up and down kind of like a Zamboni. Obviously, I'm just doing a little section for you guys here. I'll go up and down, and I'll do the room north-south and then east-west. So I'm technically sweeping it twice. And the reason why I do that is obviously to pick up as much as possible, because when I go to wash the mats, if there's particles and dust and things like that, it kind of smears it. It doesn't really pick it up at that point, and it sticks out. So I do that. So that picks up most of the dead skin and hairs and things like that. The problem with this broom, no matter how much you try to shake it and keep it clean, it does leave behind, dust bunnies and things like that, because it'll collect and it'll create all these little dust bunnies, and then it kind of shoots them out once in a while. So to solve that problem, after I'm done sweeping, is I will actually vacuum the entire floor. And this is actually a shop vac, or also known as a wet vac. And the reason why I use one of these, one, it sucks up everything, which is great, but also a regular vacuum with the spinning bristles will actually damage the mat, because the friction of the bristles will leave marks. So you'll see what I have here, the attachment that I used. This isn't actually an attachment for a shop vac. I don't think you can buy this. This is actually an attachment for the vacuum I have at home. So at home I have one of those main vacuum, center vacuum, centralized vacuum, you know what I'm trying to say. And this is one of the attachments that I find I never use. We normally use the big one. So I took this, and this obviously won't fit into the attachment So I just kind of MacGyvered my own little adapter here. And the thing that works great about this is there's no spinning bristles. It's just the bristles along the side and there's these little wheels here. And this picks up everything, which is really, really nice. Even when I was just standing there, there's like dust and lint that's fallen off of me that I can see on the block here, and that just picked it all up. So that works really, really great. I can go back and forth all the way across. It picks up virtually everything of any size, even the little tiny things that the broom misses. So it's a really good investment, and again, it works so well on these mats. It doesn't take that long to do either. I do have, you can see the yellow extension cord there. I purposely got a really long cord, that way that cord will reach everywhere in the room. I don't have to stop and plug it back in somewhere else. About, not every time I wash the floor, but about once a week. The nice thing about that too is I have an extension with that same piece that I use, and I'll actually vacuum the ceilings and the vents with that too, but that's not what we're covering today. So once that's done, that's essentially the basic cleaning. So that's the sweeping and the vacuuming. And then from there, there's the actual washing part. Now, before the wash takes place, I'll actually do something a little bit more detailed. And I don't do this step every single day when I clean. I'll do this particular step maybe once a week or so. So I have a little bit of Goo Gone, which you guys have probably seen in the stores before. And this is what I call the Bigfoot toothbrush. It's basically a toothbrush, but it's really, really, it's like industrial, right? It's strong, and it's designed, I think it's actually designed for like paint applications or scraping paints off the wall. So this works really well. So what I'll do about once a week before I do the actual wash is I'll walk around the mat, and if I see any little scuffs on the floor, like there's one down here, I don't think you'll be able to see it. I'm not gonna do it right now. I'll just go up and down for a couple minutes and just look for any scuffs. This, plus this, and then the wash is like magic. This will actually take paint off of the mats. I got a little bit of drops of paint from when I'm doing some stuff around here, so this will take it off. It doesn't require much force. It's not that hard, and it works great. So I will go around on my hands and knees and just kind of go around and scrape some stuff, but I don't have any scuffs to show you guys here, so I'm gonna skip this for now, but that is something that gets done as well. And then the next part here is just, so we have one of these dispensers that you can get at the dollar store. It's nice, you pump it and then it sprays out. I'll show you guys. And I do get asked this question a lot actually, is what product do I use on the mats? So you cannot actually use bleach on the mats. I can use bleach on pretty much like the surfaces and things like that, but not on the actual mats. Some people say you can. I don't think it's a good idea. So I use this, it's essentially, it's a natural cleaner. It's like a green cleaner. It smells like citrus. It is quite potent, so I use a 1:5 ratio in my bottle here. And these bottles don't last very long, just so you guys, if you use them regularly, because they are from the dollar store, they break after a while. But it's good. Basically, all I do with this one is I make a mental grid in my head on the mats here. So these mats are 1 meter by 2 meter sections when they get installed. So I basically will go, I'll walk backwards when I do this, and I'll cover a 2 meter wide path all the way across. I'm just doing one section here for you guys. So I'll go all the way across with that. And then I have my, my microfiber sweeper or mop, whatever you want to call it. And I'll go backwards so you can see. And I basically go left to right in a figure 8 pattern. Again, I'm covering a 2 meter section every time I do this. This is why I wear the flip-flops. I don't like stepping in this stuff. And I apply, you do have to apply some force when you're doing it, but you don't want to do too much force. You want to have it kind of evenly spread, because if you apply too much force, you're basically drying the mat as you wash it, and you don't want to dry it at the same time, because then it won't clean as much as possible. But I don't want it to stay wet for very long either. So one thing I will do, I'm not going to do it for the video because it gets noisy, is when I get to this step, is I'll actually take the shop vac and put it in the corner so that the end that blows faces out the dojo door, which is behind me here. So I'll place the vacuum over in the opposite corner and put that on blow mode as I start doing this spot, because what will happen is I can leave the mats relatively, not wet but not quite dry when this is done. and then I leave that shop vac going for a little bit, and it helps dry the process. And then once that's done, I just do one more walk around and see if I missed any spots, and that usually does pretty well. So I think I've covered everything. This process, depending on the thing with the toothbrush, if that takes a little while, but on average, if I'm just doing the sweep, the vacuum, and the wash, it's only about a 15-minute process. It doesn't really take that long. And I typically would do that before classes, not after classes. And the reason why is because I used to do it after classes, just get it done once the last class is done before I lock up, is sweep up and clean, that way it's ready for the next day. The problem with doing that is that by the time the next day hits, there's already dust that's everywhere, including the vents in the ceiling, right? That starts to come down. So by the time I start the next class, I'm already noticing like just a little bit of dust kind of in the area. And maybe that's just me and my cleaning OCD going on, but it kind of already adds to the dust before classes. And I want when people come into class that it's freshly clean. It's not cleaned, the night before. I want it to be freshly clean. So when you come in the class for the very first class, if you have like one of the 5:30 classes, without hesitation, you can eat off these mats. That's how clean they are. Obviously, if you have a class later on in the evening after, 3 or 4 classes, it may not be as nice. But that's my process, and I hope you guys got something out of that. Again, it wasn't my idea to make the video, but I had some people asking, and that's basically how I take care of my mats. For anyone else that owns a dojo that has a similar mat system, and if you have a different cleaning procedure or maintenance procedure, I'd love to see it too. And I didn't invent this procedure. I mean, I kind of did. It was like an evolutionary process. I tried different things, making sure it looked good. I learned from other YouTube videos too, so I hope this maybe will help someone else in the process. So that's it. I hope you guys liked it. Take care.